You've been playing Fortnite for a long time, maybe you're not seeing improvement, or maybe you just started and you're looking to see how to improve the right way. How have people been on the game for so long and still can't improve? In this video, I'm going to answer some of the most common questions when it comes to seeing improvement. Just a disclaimer that there's different types of improvement for different types of people. If you've been on the game for a while and you're not seeing improvement, that's different from someone who just started the game a week ago and they're not seeing improvement. There's different variations of getting better, but when you first start out, that first 2 weeks is probably when you're going to see most of the improvement, or muscle memory at least. There's this crazy stat that one of my teachers told me back in the day, and it's actually something that I remember even years later after I graduated. Whenever you do something for the first time, so like I remember when I first got on Fortnite, then you go to sleep, you remember 20 to 40% of what you learned that very first time you learned something new. But then as the days, weeks, and months go on, you don't remember not nearly as much when you go to sleep. The amount you can remember and learn that first time you go to sleep is not going to be nearly as great as the weeks or months or even years later. The longer time goes on, the more and more you're not going to be able to remember the next day you wake up. That's all because you're learning the easier stuff at the beginning, and then as it goes on, it gets really difficult. So eventually you're going to get to a point where you're just kind of going through the motions and you're not necessarily realizing on what you need to improve at all the time. Once someone kind of learns the basics or even how to be a little above average, especially for me, that's when things start to go kind of towards a plateau and I didn't really see that much improvement. What I did to get out of a hump like this was completely change up the way I was practicing and the way I was analyzing my gameplay. Back in the day, before I really had any sort of YouTube following on my main channel, Ken Beans, what I did was just post gameplay and not necessarily do tips and tricks. I was kind of focusing on content that was funny and not necessarily helping people learn how to play the game. When I sort of became a teacher and I went over the mistakes all the time in every video, I was changing the way I was thinking about improving just by doing the thing I love, aka which was making content. So by recording my gameplay and analyzing it and walking people through what I did right and what I did wrong, that's what I realized what I was bad at, so I was able to narrow down on that skill and get really good at practicing it. As I'm sure your problem is probably my problem as well, I just don't have a lot of time. When it comes to playing anything, but especially Fortnite, I don't have time to just sit and practice every little mistake that I make. I get a lot of people telling me I'm pretty good at the game, but there's so many small mistakes that I make in my gameplay that really separate me from being like that pro. But when it comes to improvement, I'm okay with that because I want to just slowly get better over time. If you're watching this video though, chances are you probably want to be better than I am. You just have to think about putting more time into getting better than doing other things. I strongly recommend to start recording your game so that you can kind of look back at the good clips or the bad clips. For the most part, I just clip things, but I don't go into the replay mode. If that's your only option, that's cool, but it's not the best thing to do. Going in the replay mode just kind of sucks. Back in the day, it was cool and all, it was a new feature and everyone wanted to see what it was about, but now it's just kind of laggy, it stutters, it takes a long time to load, it's just weird. It's not bad, but it's just not the greatest way of going about it. What I did to notice real improvements, this goes back to before I had my YouTube channel really popping. I can feel pretty confident that some people that are watching this are probably going to be streamers. If you're not, it's still okay because you can follow the same thing. What I did was that every time right before I realized I was about to get into a real game like Play Arena for the day, I would go into a creative map, literally just Google an aim trainer. There's literally no impact on what aim trainer you use. I don't know why people are so obsessed with maps. You literally Google any map and you play it and it's perfectly fine to aim train on. I would grind out the aiming for like 20 to 30 minutes before I started playing. You throw on music, you aim train, it's literally that simple. After that, I would practice tarping towards players, just piece controlling them up. That's something I did in Raiders maps, and I just go through those drills one by one until I felt like I was really warmed up. Then I would hop into the real game and then try and just do everything I learned, but work on my IQ more than anything. You want to practice a lot, right? You warm up in the beginning, but as you play these games, you want to practice your IQ. Try to figure out best places to land, when to fight someone, when if you beam someone, do you roll up? Are you going outside a storm? How are you going to rotate? This is all IQ stuff so that you can win the game. I always tell people, like, once I warm up, I go into a game and I land at a spot. I key the people that are at my spot, and then after that, I really play focused on trying to get the dub. I don't camp, but I kind of remind myself of like an early game cash cup. I would key a lot of fights in the beginning and even towards the mid game when I find somebody. I try not to roll up to big fights where there's going to be a chance of getting third partied, fourth partied, or fifth partied. It's really important to remember the practice in the beginning and then use your IQ to get better at the game and literally while you're playing real games. In the long term, this is how you see improvement. If you're literally just starting out, you need to practice creative for like a week straight. I remember remember when I switched the controller for the first time I started playing claw, I had to relearn all the binds all over again. What I did was not even play an arena game until I was like 5 days into practicing. That's because I was able to remember my binds in those 5 days since I grinded for like an hour and a half every time I got on. Every day I woke up, I would just get on the game, I'd play the controller, and I'd try to go through the drills. Once I remembered my binds to the point where I didn't need to look down, then I would go into a real game. Small little things just like this will really help someone in the long run, I promise you. If you're a little bored when you warm up, which I can totally see, go to my main channel, Ken Beans. I posted a video not too long ago about the best way to make warm-ups fun. Use code KenBeans if this information helped you at all. Hit the sub button, and I'll talk to you guys in the next video. Deuces. Peace.